Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Conversations in the Fifth Element with amazing women, or Conversaciones en el quinto elemento. You know that this is a podcast that Cristina and we do every week. We cross oceans, we fly through the sky, we take every single phone in order to find a woman that is interesting, that has something to tell us, something important, something that can touch our hearts. Today, we have a woman that is going to make you swim, run, and remind you that it is best not to give up.
Yes, beautiful Yolanda. I love it. So today we have this amazing woman. Her name is Linda Marie Johnson, and
Mhm.
she is powerhouse. She's an athlete, artist, a mother, an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And one of the flavors that we have from her is that this capacity of, endurance
Yeah.
and connection with something greater, that always like fills her and fuels her life. So today it was a pleasure to have Linda with us. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. She's full of wisdom, and openly she shares with us.
Yeah, that's what I like the most, even, like she has this transparency, like an aura of transparency that it felt really refreshing. So I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell us, comment anything that what do you want more of? And we will bring it to you. Right, Christina?
Yes, di que
Okay.
sí, of course. So until we see each other again. So, well, thank you so much for being with us, Linda. I am very pleased that you say yes, that you want to be a part of this conversation with me and Yolanda in our podcast channel Mujeres en el Quinto Elemento. So this is like for you and for more people that they plug in to know that this is a space for right now we are like bringing a lot of women from all kinds of colors
Background.
and the universe. I mean, there's like all, and the thing is to have a reflection, to have a resonance with the stories of one another's and feeling inspired. So this
Mhm.
is kind of like to inspire each other, because this is
Mhm.
how life should be, and create like friendships and connections. And my light suddenly went like whoa in my computer. Anyway, so yes, I wanted to bring you here because for me, I know you for many years, and I always admire your light heart, your fun, and plus everything that comes with you, that is like amazing family. And the more that I know about you, the more like inspire I get from your life. And you've been doing a lot of things that we'll get into it, but I just want to welcome you here in the space with me and
Thank
Yolanda
you.
today.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I'm really thankful that you are having me today. I guess we were going to talk about. I remember when I saw you this weekend. I was like, yes, I'm planning to do another triathlon, and you
Hmm.
said, well, why, Linda? Why? And well, because I mean, I guess I am an endurance athlete. I have been for over 10 years now. And I started this, I've always known myself to be an athlete, even at a young age, climbing trees and see who could jump the highest. It's in my
Mm.
nature. And I came to a difficult time in my life one time when my mom passed away. And it was right after I had given birth to my second child. And I didn't know what was happening because I was in a dark space. It is postpartum depression. And
Mm.
part of it had to do with the consequence of losing my mother, and not feeling like I had anyone to talk to, and being overwhelmed. And I ended up going to the YMCA, and I started swimming early in the morning. And I found that swimming was a way to kind of clear my mind and to sort of just set all the negativity aside. And I got out of the pool and I felt like refreshed, like I could handle my day. So I guess that is how I became a triathlete. Was I was swimming one day and I had a woman come up to me and she says, you know, you should do the Danskin triathlon, which was an endurance. It was a triathlon for women only. And it was women who had just been through cancer, or, you know, lost both of their breasts to breast cancer or some form of cancer. And or people like myself who had just lost a loved one to cancer. So this was sort of a departure point for me, becoming a triathlete. And some of the things I saw coming out of that race was so awe-inspiring, to see women who have had a double mastectomy and they're tattooed on their breasts and they look like warrior women. And I thought, well, this is brilliant. I mean, to translate, you know, taking a negativity, like a negative situation like depression or cancer, and putting it inside of yourself as a warrior, you know, and taking that energy and putting it out there. So that is, I
That
get
is awesome.
emotional.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
have goosebumps, okay, just now.
me too. I have like tears, and I've been crying more lately now that I'm older. It's like, wow, everything. I look at a
Nice.
flower and I cry. It's amazing.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of getting older too, right? That we cry easily, and I think it's a good way to release, to feel. Anyway, so it is
Yes.
amazing, because the moment that I realized that you were a triathlon athlete, I am an amazing fan of this podcaster. His name is Rich Roll. And he was precisely yesterday, and had his new podcast, and he was talking, because he also is an athlete, as you are, and he was talking about this man. His name is James Lawrence, that he just finished. Okay, let's explain a little bit how many miles. I think it is 2.4 miles of swimming, no?
Yep,
I think
that's correct. That's correct.
112 miles of biking.
That's correct. Yep.
And then 24.2 miles of marathon, kind
That's
of like.
correct. You put it all together.
Muy
Okay,
bien,
I
Yolanda.
remember. Well, the thing is, I remember this is because I contrasted the numbers with you, and I said, "Oh my gosh, are the same numbers that you were talking about." And these men did, because I read you did like 4 of those, right?
Yes, I've competed in 4 of them. The first one was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And that was an awe-inspiring situation, because I learned how to swim in a mass group of people. The gun goes off and everyone jumps in the water all at once, and you swim, and it's like salmon finding their way in their stream.
Wow.
And I have never had the feeling of being carried like a fish in a stream. And it was like pulling on people's bubbles, watching their feet and pulling in the stream. And it was the most incredible feeling to come out of my first swim and having the crowd cheering. And I felt like amazing. I felt like victory. It was just, and then I got hooked, you know, and I came out and got on my bike, and, you know, some people weren't finishing because it was too cold. We had wool socks on our arms because it was freezing, and then you take your socks off. I mean, it just, one of the things that I love about competing is being out there on the course and giving positive messages to people. And when you do that, when you give positive, like, good job, you look amazing, you're doing great, it gives you also a positivity that carries you through. If you're out there and you're complaining, and this is sort of relevant to life, if you're out there and you're going, you know, gosh, I'm tired, I'm gonna bonk, or this wind is really pushing against me on my bike, that's going to affect your performance. And so that is something I have come to understand in competition, is the positivity of a mindset. When you're out there, it's a tough mental game. You're out there and you constantly have to chant positivity. You know, look at birds in flight. When they're flying, they're light. You think of birds, be light on your feet. You know, the rhythm of your pedals on the bike, you feel it, and the rhythm connects to something in your head. Maybe it's a song, or, I mean, it's constantly a mental game when you're out there. And nutrition is key. If you don't salt, if you don't have electrolytes in your body, you're going, the strongest athlete out there will cramp and will bonk and will not finish. So it's all about, endurance sport is all about feeding your body the proper nutrition. It's about timing with your nutrition. You can't just go out there and eat a hamburger on the course. You have to know exactly when to eat, when to drink. And I think that's how I've been a successful triathlete, is I've learned how to understand nutrition as well as the mental side of it. So yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. So for me, something that you were saying that about the positive, you know, like mindset, and also how it relates to life, no? And this is something that many people like think about athlete, about competition, no? Like I need to win. And yeah, of course you have that, but being in a group of people and that you guys cheer each other, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what I was saying is that to have a community, not only in athlete, but that's what we want to do here too, to have a community of women. And at the beginning, then we'll grow into everybody, absolutely. But right now we start like this and cheering women, like, you know, seeing their brilliance, because when we see their brilliance, we see ours too, you know. So it's kind of like a giving, reflecting, you know, and taking in, no, and all that. So it is a great exercise. I think a great way of being, I will say, you know.
Yes, that's absolutely true. You see all body types out there. There's people that are heavy set, you know, those are the ones that impress me the most, because they have to carry that weight throughout the entire race. Those are people I encourage all people who are having a hard time. I'll say, don't give up. You've got this. Women in particular have more endurance. Men typically go out really strong and try and muscle it, you know, but women, you know, men will always beat women, right? I mean, it's just, they're stronger, but endurance, I think women have it because we give birth, we give children, we know how to endure and to, you know, see the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of the people, I remember one time staying at the end of an Ironman race and watching the last place finisher, and I ran with him, and I'm getting teary-eyed again.
Me too.
And he talked about how he lost his mother, and it was in the dark, and I think he had like a couple minutes before cutoff time in Ironman is 17 hours. You need to finish in 17 hours. And I ran with him, and it was dark. There were lights, you know, because you couldn't see without the lights. And he told me his whole story, and I ran with him to the finish line, and he was the last place finisher. And to me, that man was as spectacular as the first place finish, you know, winner. So, you know, there's like that. That's really, to me, that, I don't know, because it gives me a lot of meaning for the endurance sport. So just watching all types of people.
For me, it's interesting the moments that you become emotional with this, right? It's really interesting, because I wonder what is exactly that connection, you know, like you are running with these men and you get teary eyes because there's something about him that is reflecting in your life as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Endurance is the meaning of the word is to keep going, is not to give up. And in life, you know, we have all kinds of situations going on right now with COVID, and, you know, there's so many people that are, you know, fighting, it seems, against viewpoints of masks, no masks. I mean, it translates to life. I mean, but when to keep going, you know, not to give up. When you're depressed, sometimes you just want to lay in bed and you don't want to get out of bed. And that can be so debilitating. And I've known depression, but I've never taken it to where I'm going to take pills, or, you know, I believe that our bodies and our minds are strong enough to get through it. But to reach out, and we need to find what it is that keeps us going. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a writer, whether you're a gardener, whatever it is that's passion, and it's not always just work. You know, it's not whatever you love. Keep that going. You know, playing the guitar, finding time for that. You know, so what I do is high energy. It's adrenaline. I'm definitely an adrenaline junkie. I love to go fast on my bike. But I also crave the quietude, the space, the gardening with nobody around me, the birds chirping. You know, I take it all in to make it a positive experience.
Yeah, I see like your body is like balance, no? You're looking for the balance here, like you were saying about the nutrition too, no? You had to know when to eat, and there's a, like you said, adrenaline junkie. I was thinking about you know, I know a few people that they have depression, and some of them they you know, they work through it, and it's like, I'm just going to, you know, I know that I'm getting there, I'm gonna do whatever, you know, so they are active. And other people is just, some of them that I know, they just can't, you know, they just cannot get out of the bed. And I have a few times I had depression, but not like really like intense in that way, but feeling like, oh wow, you know, I'm very lucky, because when I feel depressed, this way of like, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to get out of bed, you know, I'm just like, there's nothing interesting in life, and it's kind of like you feel like a zombie, you know? And there's not, and it's like, wow, and look at yourself in, you know, like you kind of find like, what is the happiness, what is it that? And it's like, for me, when I go into these moments, yes, I think about my friends that they are in this place for a long time, and I feel like a lot of like, you know what, that makes me, I feel like compassion, I feel like, wow, it just happened to me for a couple of days or for a week, but there's people that they live like that for a long time. And for me, that softening of the heart, like a way of that I can start feeling again something.
Absolutely. You know? The giving, Cristina, because we understand it. And if we see somebody who's down, we know it, we understand it. So we have to give to them, because absolutely. We don't want to see people suffering. I think overall, as humanity, we want to feel lifted, not down. Compassion, human compassion.
Yeah, and it's difficult. It is difficult to, for instance, for me, it has been really difficult because the times that I've been, I was going through some kind of depression after postpartum depression, for instance, right? That I remember that my sister left. She came for my labor. She left, and I start crying for a whole month. I don't know why, but I was just start crying, right? And the way. And I think Cristina might relate with this, maybe you too. I don't know if it's a matter of age or it's a matter of culture. I'm not sure. Or the way that we were nurtured when we were kids, right? That the way that I manage my depression, or the moments that I've been sad, or the moments that I've been down, the moments that I feel no inspiration, or I feel like asking myself questions like, where am I going? Who the hell I am? Right? In a way, I power through. And this reminds me a little bit with your triathlon, right? In a way that I always find a way that I have to push through it. I have to push through it. And that's the way, because I was not, what I was going through when I was a child, maybe it never was, maybe it was a depression, but it was not considered depression. So my mother would say, what the hell are you doing? Just keep going, right? Like keep walking. You need to get up and keep walking. Right?
I think motherhood teaches us that, to keep going. Motherhood, because we can't lay on the couch. We have kids to take care of now, right? We have to care for. It's our nature. And that's true. It's a gift to be a mom in that regard, because it teaches us to keep going, to not quit.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but also I think sometimes it makes me when my daughter goes sometimes to these moments, like the
You have a
moment.
teenager daughter. You gotta say.
okay.
Your
Yeah.
daughter. Okay.
They
When
challenge you, don't they? They challenge you. They
So when
challenge
she
you,
going
Yolanda.
through these valleys and peaks, and then it decide to loop within the dark hole that I call it. Sometimes my tendency is what I learned, and what I learn is like, come on, you need to start doing something, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line. It's a fine line to, for me at least, I need to learn, right? I don't know how you do it, but it's a fine line to the moment that we feel how we are feeling and allow us to be in that moment for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, now even I don't feel that I have the strength, but I'm going to power through in order
Yes.
to bring the strength. How do you see it? Have you seen your kids going through this period and you are like, oh, I understand that they may be sad, they may be depressed,
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, I have all the time. They feel overwhelmed. Right now, it's hard for kids because I think it's harder for kids now than it was for us because of living expense for college. My kids are figuring it out now, and they're like, how did you put yourself through college and pay rent? And well, it's harder for kids because, all I can tell them is take it in stride, do baby steps. Don't take everything on at once. It's better to take on little and be successful at it than take on too much. That's all I can tell my kids right now because, they're all experiencing things. I have one son who's out there, he's hitting door-to-door sales. And he calls me some days, he goes, Mom, I didn't get one sale. I worked from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And all I can tell him is, you're young and maybe this will just be a lesson in life that you'll be able to tell your son or your daughter later, and if anything, it's an experience. And when you're young is the time to make mistakes. That's all I tell them, because it is hard for kids right now. And so, and then again, the word empathy comes in, understand them. Don't say, oh, well, when I was a kid, I had to walk 10 miles up a snow. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's old school. No, like I had to walk in a snowstorm with a backpack and get to my class, whatever, today is different. It's a different world.
It is a different world. Totally.
Our kids have to
you remind me, like the other day I was with my son, Sunny. He's pre-teenager, so 11 years old. And then he called me, he called Bruce, no, my husband, and he's like, he's not with us. He's in other state in United States with a friend. And he said, like, my friend has, the parents, they're going to buy him this thing, or he's going to get this thing. And I'm like, okay. So what happened to you? It's really hard because he's going to have what I want and I cannot have it. And I'm like,
yes, that's a good lesson for kids.
Totally. I said, well, you know what? That's so great. You call us, you need support. You're doing really good. I know it's super hard. Might be super hard and you cannot have it. It's okay. And then he's like, you guys are not helping. Boom.
Yeah. No, that's a huge lesson for kids. Shayla went to a school with very wealthy kids, and a girl drives up and had a daddy's girl on her license plate, and Shayla didn't have a car. Shayla would have to bike to school. It's okay. It makes you stronger to have to earn it yourself. That's what I tell my kids.
Totally.
Right?
I told him, like, you're working some emotion that is really, really hard. That adults, we have a lot of, like when you feel jealous or envy, all these things are like super hard. So really good that you call us and we're here for you.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, what?
That didn't help. It's like, oh, that was a good lesson, Mom.
Of course, he was like, okay, no problem, we'll buy. No. And then, I was telling Bruce, like, one day when he's old, he will be like, when my parents, I ask for something, they're like, you can do it, it's okay, you don't have to have it all,
Yeah.
It's okay to wait for it,
That's right. And then you appreciate it all the more.
Yeah, even more.
You own it. Yes.
Those
It's a good
lessons.
lesson for kids these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really want to know, Linda, because this that we were talking about right now is I consistency is another thing that triathlon probably
Absolutely.
teaches, right? Because that is
Yes.
important as well.
Yes. If you don't train, you're going to die out there. So I just finished one of the hardest half Ironmans. It was 70.3, and it was in southern Utah in St. George. And that was a comeback for me after 2016. I had completed Ironman Cozumel, and I had podiumed. I had second place. I was on the podium, and I missed the world championships by one slot. And that was really disappointing to me. And I thought, I'm done with this. It's just, it's a corporate event, la, la, la. I was bad mouthing it. And I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. And I came back after COVID because there was a lot of athletes in the community that were like, hey, Linda, what are you doing? And I'm like, so I have this community, and I'm like, I think I'm going to just try and stick to 70.3 because I'm 55 years old and I want to be able to do it until I'm 60. And anyways, Ironman St. George was the hardest event because of the heat, because of the elevation gain. It was a 5,000-foot climb in Snow Canyon, which is like you sit back on your bike and you just pedal going 7 miles an hour and you go slow, slow, slow.
Yeah.
And then you come out of the canyon and you have to run in a hot desert, which is like a 1,000 elevation gain. So I did it, but if I hadn't been consistent with my nutrition, first of all, I had to lose about 10 pounds because I was overweight for a triathlete at the time. Consistency, wake up in the morning. What am I eating? Caloric intake, salting, planning my workout. When am I going to work out? Sometimes working out at the hottest time of day because I had to mimic the temperature in St. George because Washington State is not hot like St. George. So yes, consistency is key for success in triathlon. If you miss a workout, you're going to feel it the next day. And typically it's about 10 to 12 hours a week of training. So yeah, consistency is very key.
Yeah.
And how do you translate that? Sorry, Cristina. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, you go, Yolanda.
I just wanted to.
Yeah.
How do you apply this consistency, this rigorous training and awareness to your own life? So how do you mimic what is triathlon in your life with your own life?
That's a good question. Sometimes for me, I can feel overwhelmed, and what it does for me is it actually helps me to organize my life. I'm old school. I write things out. I have a calendar, and I highlight. Pink is my workout and orange is my work. And pink to me is representative of femininity, of my time, myself, my building. And so I have a little Sharpie system that I Sharpie my pink for my workout. And I like to work out in the evening. It's almost like a reward. Like I go for my runs in the evening. I'm a sunset chaser, I call myself. And I love to reflect when I'm running. I love to bike in the evening, and swimming in the morning. I like to swim in the morning because it's kind of like it opens me up and refreshes me, and I can think about my day. So it translates to my life as far as organization goes. It just gives me a sense of reward. So, if you go for a walk in the evening, think of it as your reward. You did a good day, reward yourself, take your dog for a walk, So I guess it goes hand in hand for me. Is my work mimics my triathlon in that it keeps me focused.
Yeah. It seems that you integrate it into your life. No, I mean, it's part of your life. It's part of how you are. No, that's part of you, and you are learning from that every day. I mean, like it opens your mind, relaxes you. I mean, there's like all these things that you're doing for yourself, no? And the rewards is. Imagine when is going to be the next race? When do you have it?
It's going to be end of July. I'm doing the Oregon, Salem, Oregon, which it's an inaugural race, and I'm excited because my son Soren is joining me, and he's the one that he says, Mom, let's do one more. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was done this year. But he's like, no, one more. So I think I gave the bug to my son, Soren. So I'm really happy that I can share it with my son out there on the course, you know.
Yeah, and your son was the first time he did last time with you, and he won a medal or something. No, that I saw.
We all get a medal. I mean, you could finish last and get a medal, but I placed 11th in my age group, and he was right in the middle of his pack, and he did really well. He finished, and he felt amazing. He met a friend who was like right behind him, and I was really concerned when I did it with him because it was his first time, and so my maternal instinct was like, Soren should be catching me any minute because I was faster than him on the swim, but he caught me on the run, and everyone's around me. And I said, Soren, don't forget to take your goo. You're gonna need it the last, you know, and everyone's laughing like, oh, there's a mom and son on the course. You know, I'm sitting there telling him what to do. And he beat me, which I was thrilled because I was like, look at you, you know, you've got endurance. So I feel happy that I've given that to my son. I handed the baton to him, you know.
But I think you said that you went to Utah, right? That was recently, right?
Yes, that was last. When was that one? That was recently. It was 2-3 months ago. So yeah, I had some rest period after, and I'm back on training again for my second half. So initially, I had signed up to do the Ironman Canada, which is in Penticton, and because of COVID, all the athletes, they have to defer it to next year because we can't go to Canada yet. And so a lot of athletes are doing it next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not. I have done Ironman Penticton before. It's a spectacular course. In terms of feeling the most spiritual on my bike, you're up on the highest ground and you're in a desert, and there's sagebrush, and there's a lake that is an Epsom salt lake that looks like a giant white lily pad. It is the most spectacular bike course. So I tell athletes that one is a definite if you want a great bike course. But I think I'm going to stick with 70.3. It's a nice distance for me, and it doesn't hurt my body as much as what a full is a very tough event to train for. And as you get older, it's okay to be gentler with yourself. That's what I'm learning. So
because it can be. I remember I had a boss when I was in Colorado, and she used to do triathlons a lot, and ended up. She's much older than you are, but she ended up with a lot of pain in his body at the end, right? That she had to stop because it was very intense in her body. So what point do you think is healthy for you then?
Yes, that's a great question, Yolanda. When you start feeling, I thought I had a hip impingement when I pushed to get second place for the Cozumel. I had what was called an impingement, and I had an x-ray. I don't have any arthritis, which is good. And I think because I take bone broth, I do a bone broth solution, and I sip bone broth, and I took a good 2 years off after 2016 and just did yoga, weight training. And I thought I was done. I couldn't run anymore. I started running. I had a doctor say, just stop running. And he kind of pissed me off. I was like, no, I don't feel like I'm done. And then I met another doctor who was like, you know, Linda, you'll be fine. Just do some physical therapy. And I started running, 2 miles, 3 miles, and I started building again. And I still have it. And I was like, oh, I'm not done running. So I think when the first thing to go in triathlon for athletes is the run. The run is the hardest on your body. You can swim until you're 90. You can bike until you're 90, but the run is high impact. And so that's what I anticipate will tell me when I'm completely done is, okay, this doesn't feel right anymore. This hurts my hips. Or I know a lot of athletes who have stopped because of the running. They can't run anymore. So I'm a late bloomer when it comes to running. I started in my late 30s. I was a hurdler in high school. I was a track runner, but I wasn't a long distance runner. I didn't take it up until my late 30s. So I think in some ways that's kept me going in my age. I can still do it, but I know a lot of runners who ran long distance when they were younger have had to give it up. So So for now, I guess people ask, why do you run? Because I can still do it. I guess I enjoy it, and I feel gracious when I'm out there.
I remember long time ago, when I went to the gym. I mean, when I was in my 20s, not before the pandemic, but before, I used to run in the, because in the streets, it was not the same. I live in the city, so I went to the gym and I go into the machine that you run.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, you got into the zone, like,
the
I
zone.
love it. I
Yes.
was like, and it was just like the breath, the movement,
The rhythm.
the rhythm. I was like, no wonder people get like hooked into that,
Mhm.
And then, whatever happened to my life, I think I stopped doing the gym. But this is what you were saying about, and this is what it takes to become an athlete, like the continue, the persistence, the not giving up, like, not giving up is like, I enjoy very much. I enjoy the running. I like, oh yeah, I can see why, or imagine like painting. No, when I was doing painting for a while, and then suddenly I connect with the movement of the painting, the creativity, and I was like, of course, that's why people paint, because it's amazing. Because you feel the pain, and and I was cooking the other day, and then suddenly I get into this cooking mode. I'm like, oh wow, I can see what people.
That's the passion. That's the passion.
It's so funny.
It is interesting. Painting, cooking, triathlon. You hit plateaus. Sometimes I'm like, I can't think what I'm going to put on the painting next, or I don't know what to put in this recipe. I need help. Or when I'm running, you hit a plateau of I don't feel like I can go any further. There's always, or I can't go faster. There's always a plateau in life with things like that. It's interesting.
And for me, that's what happened to me, that like I got to the plateau and I was like, okay, next, and there's different kinds of people, no? But now I have like the bag again of like going back and painting, and just painting for painting, not like chasing, because that's what I was doing before. I was chasing the high. Like in painting, it's like, why suddenly stop this joy of painting?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? And
great point, Cristina. I love it.
Yeah.
Even with triathlon, I don't care if I'm on the top 10 athlete. If I finish on my own pace and I've encouraged people along the way, then that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I like that. I love that point you just made.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like, I think also, I remember my teacher was, so like, because I was so worried. Why do you want to weigh? Why did I do wrong? Why? No. And then, time passes and you reflect in those moments, and it's like, it was never about.
I love painting for that.
It's
timeless. Timeless.
Exactly. And because you are also you're an artist, I say your paintings. And how is that? Are you, or did you like put it aside for a while, or sometimes you go like a little bit? Or how does it go for you now?
Yeah, I miss it. I look at painting. I mean, when I paint, it feels like gardening. So when I'm gardening, I feel the same kind of connectivity that I felt with my painting. It's like sailing. When you go out sailing, you don't think about the time. You have time to do things. And I guess I'm busy right now with my business, so that certainly has stopped me from painting. But yeah, absolutely. I do see myself as an artist. I will always be an artist, and I will get back to it. I have an easel in my green room. Maybe I'll start planting plants or flowers because I love them. So, but I'd like to get back into the painting where I go deeper. And you're good at this, Cristina, where you go deeper into your mind and you bring out subconscious thoughts and you put it on the canvas, and it can be an abstract image. But I think that's really amazing to go that deep and bring that side into your painting. And I want to be there again. And it's not here yet, I feel like, but it will be. It's always there.
It's interesting you say that, because when you said that painting is like sailing, right? And the moment that you say that, the first thing that I got from you is like, whoa, she's not there. I mean, you are not sailing right now, because I can tell that you you have found something that is telling you you keep going, you don't give up, you keep
Yeah.
going for whatever reason. I don't know
Yeah.
what is going on in your life, but
Yeah.
you are in that motion, you know, like all of a sudden, whatever is like to give up or stop or something is not a question, you know, it's not. In your energy, you're talking about the triathlon, the way you eat, the way you, I don't know, the way you train, your next triathlon, it is like, wow. So you are, for whatever reason, you are running already.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you are
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So
I have a business. I've got to think about that. I've got all these little things going on in my head. Yeah, you're right. I'm not sailing yet.
it is not the right therapy. It is not the right, not therapy, but mood, right? It's not the right, you're not in the sailing mode.
I'm not in sailing mode yet. It's funny, you say when your kids move out of the house, empty nesters. No, I don't feel like I'm a complete empty nester yet. I feel like they're still there, very present, even though they're not in the house. It's like, wow. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. That's interesting because
Yeah.
that's what people say, no? Like, I remember having, birth Sunny, and then I was like, wow, this love is so huge, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to prepare for the day that he's leaving, just to
Yeah.
like since he was a baby, I'm like, one day he's gonna leave the house, kind of
I
like.
know.
Like since the beginning of the days, I'm like, one day he's gonna leave, and he went for 2 weeks the first time he's leaving the house, and I'm like, he's fine, great,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a problem at all. I was like, yeah, go, go, go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and everybody's like, Cristina, this is a long time, 2 weeks, and like, I think it's great, but I wonder, I mean, because we only have one, you have three,
Oh yeah.
and they asked me like, my mom have five,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's all.
Saint.
And my mom was just like, she felt emptiness, but you know what I think it is, that she didn't have she at the end when we were leaving, she lived through us, kind of, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely. I
And then we
completely
leave, and it's
understand that.
like, oh, what happened with my life,
Yeah.
and it's not what is happening to your life. Your life is going, I mean, it's
Yes.
happening every day. Now you are like, you reinvent your business. The pandemic, something happened, and then it's like, okay, the business, I had to do something else.
Yes.
And align in your in your housing and things that you were doing, you reinvented, and you're like, something else, and
That's
and
right.
you got into it, and you are like, having fun with it. It's out of work, but you're like, when I talk about, you're doing some Airbnb.
Yeah.
People say
That's a great point, Christina, because if you go through hardships like anything like the COVID, and the change is horrible, we can feel down, but we can grow from it, and we can make ourselves better. So yes, absolutely. Going with change or flowing with it. Don't fight it. If you flow with it, you can open yourself up to some amazing inventions. Reinventing my business. I was tired. I was done with it. I kept complaining about it. The negativity was starting to set in. And then it took the pandemic to say, Linda, you have to change. You have to change now, because you can't go back,
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
when did you realize that? What happened? In what moment you said, "This is it. This is the moment"?
It was right after I was going into elderly people's homes, and I was helping them. I was becoming a caretaker. I was cleaning their homes, and I was starting to feel it's just not me anymore. And I had a trip to Mexico, and then the COVID hit. I came back, and I couldn't go to elderly people's homes. I couldn't go to my clients' homes anymore. And I had to call them, and I said, "I'm sorry." And they go, "Yeah, no, we don't want you here." And it took that change where I had to sit at home and rethink things. And I have an Airbnb business that's doing really well, because people still needed to travel. They wanted to see their family. Even though COVID was here, I had to stick to these strict regulations of sterilizing the home. And, and I felt like finally I'm going to do a business that I love, because I think I am a hostess. I love seeing families come together. I love making a place beautiful for people. And I found something that I love to do by default, because, if it wasn't for COVID, I may still be out there helping all these old people and cleaning their homes. But sometimes it does take a kick in the pants, like COVID, to tell you, hey, it's time to change. Restaurateurs, they lost their businesses in Olympia. I have so much sympathy for people who are so talented as, restaurant owners who made beautiful meals and now they don't have it. I mean, there was so much change after COVID with business owners. But now I'm slowly seeing restaurants opening up again in Olympia. So it's like a forest fire. A forest fire happens, but there's rebirth. We have new life coming up from fire. We do. So I feel like right now we're all in a rebirthing period with reinventing ourselves as business owners, athletes, moms sending their kids to school. We're slowly kind of eking back.
Yeah, and this is how I see it, like in your life, no? When we started this conversation, and you were telling us about your mom, that it was under depression, also that you were experiencing for after birth, and all that together, and it's like that was a burning point in your life. You're feeling like, and swimming, and then from the swimming comes the, that athlete spirit and expression.
Exactly.
It's
Breath.
like,
Breath. When you're depressed, you feel like you can't yell. Your voice feels, but breath is so important to let it out and to speak. And, that's why I love karaoke too. That was random, but I do. I love karaoke. Your son loves it too, Cristina. I know.
Yeah, no, but you see, you can sing something. Like, we love it to hear you, because I'm taking singing classes, but my voice is like, I'm healing my voice, but you are like, you're a person that like to have fun. You have fun. I mean, it's just like, I love that about you. I feel like the three of us, we're fun spirit sisters. We like
yes,
to have
we are.
fun, and we just like, with whatever we enjoy,
Yes, we do.
Yeah, bring it on.
Right? You too, Yolanda.
Bring it on.
Sing it.
Yolanda, yeah, she doesn't have a problem at all either.
Doesn't? She'll be the first up on karaoke.
Oh, no, I need a couple of tequilas before. But after the 2 tequilas, I'm pretty sure I will be able to do it.
That's great. Love it. That's awesome.
Well, so thank you so much for being with us. Is there anything that you would like to share with us that it didn't come up in the conversation that is very related to your life right now?
You guys were great in getting it all out of me. I have to admit, I was kind of shy. I didn't know what I was going to say, but you guys are great. You got it all out of me. I guess it's just, with hardship, the message of not giving up, and don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. And it's never too late. When you get 50, you feel like, oh man, I didn't do that. Why did I do this? You have all those thoughts, but I think just to be gracious to yourself, and we're only human, so it's okay to make mistakes along the way and learn from it and grow, and not be afraid to change. If you get into a spot in your life and say, I'm not happy with this, it's okay to reinvent.
Yeah.
Interesting, because yesterday I was I'm always with my podcast and all of this, and this one was about astrology, and it was saying that sometimes when we feel lost and confused, or we don't know where to go, and it is because we set up our bar too low, instead of putting the bar higher. And I'm just saying this because you just gave me like an amazing sign that, in a way, I was waiting for receiving what you just said. So it's my way of saying thank you, and maybe remembering to set our bars higher, because then we can go where we want to go, right?
Absolutely.
Life, in business, and inner development, or anything.
Yep.
And everything.
Fear is probably the worst emotion out there. Fear closes us off. It creates people discriminate because of fear. People are afraid to go someplace new because of fear.
Or connect, or
connect.
And fear blocks connection.
Yes, it's
connection
the worst
with yourself
emotion.
and with others. And I wanted to say also, thank you very much for that. This of like Yolanda was saying about, and Yolanda too, thank you very much for this. Put also put your dreams and put your desires and like higher from a place
Yes.
of
Yep.
like, and this is like endurance too, in a way of like not giving up.
Yep.
You know, look at your diet, meaning like what I can do. It's like everything. You just give us a map, a beautiful map of life.
Mhm.
You know, the life of the athlete, the life of the artist, the life of like, you know, you have, and at the same time, it's like, there's a goal, but there's also an integration of everything around you, you know,
Absolutely.
everything integrated. And it feels right. It feels good to me. So
Awesome.
yeah, thank you so much.
All right,
It's
guys.
wonderful.
Oh, so good to connect with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I remember when I remember you. I tell you later.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be fun. I would love to see you at a bonfire again, right?
Yeah.
We'll connect
Yes.
again, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Muy bien. Pues thank you so much. Y besitos. Mwah. Love you,
Oh.
Linda. You're amazing. Thank
And
you.
keep us posted,
Yeah.
about your triathlon. I would like to
Okay.
see more
Yeah.
of that. It would be great. I think
Salem,
do you have a
Oregon.
blog? Do you have a blog or something? I think you should have a blog or
Someone
write a
to show me
book
how to
or
do it. I'm not
something.
a techno person. I was so afraid of this. I was like, how do I do Zoom? So maybe someone could come into my house and show me how to blog. I would love to.
But you know what? But you write really good. And blog is about just write.
It's
You write
writing.
beautiful. And you don't have to write like pages and pages. But you know, there's a lot of inspiration that comes from your word and a lot of wisdom from your mouth, from your
Okay.
life experience. And that in a blog, you know, Yolanda knows a lot about, you know, there's like, it doesn't have to be
I
very
tell
complicated.
you how to do it. Very easy.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, totally. That's why we're here. We're connected and we're for each other, no?
It's so
Shining,
cool.
shining. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Bueno.
thank you, ladies, so much for interview. You really got it out of me, I tell you. I didn't think I would say a peep, and boy, I said a lot, didn't I?
That's how you are, Linda. You,
I am.
you know, beautiful heart, and it's just like I didn't have any doubt about you.
Aw, thanks, Christina.
Yeah.
All right, girls.
Okay. Adios.
Adios.
Ciao.